All right, guys, so we're gonna do a video that'll come next about printing checks through QuickBooks and using a laser printer. One of the things we have to do first is to set up your individual computer, QuickBooks, and printer so that you can accurately print checks and everything will line up when you print them. So that's what
we're actually going. We have not set up Clements Ferry yet. This is a brand new store. We haven't even opened yet. So we are literally setting this up for the first time, so you can see how to set up your printer to be able to print checks.
All right. So what I'm going to do, if you go under the check mark up here at the top to the print checks function, you will have this icon down here at the bottom, or this link to print setup, and that's what you want to do. You're going to be using voucher checks. That's the setup that's going to have the check at the top, a stub in the middle, and a stub at the bottom.
We assume this is what you're going to be using. We don't. This is what we've done with all of our stores. You know, this is literally a sheet of paper. Your check's at the top, and then you got two stubs underneath it.
And this is just a blank one. You can see check at the top, stub in the middle goes with the check, and then the stub at the bottom, which is a duplicate, I tear off, and you keep that with records or whatever.
If you keep it.
If you keep them. So here we go. One of the things you're going to start with from this screen is you're going to view a preview, and you're going to print a sample.
So it just generated, this is just a, a check that it is generating just for you to print out a sample. It's not, this is not one of our actual checks.
I don't know why it's doing this. Sorry guys, this is, as John said, this is all new for this store, so I am not entirely sure. It would be help if I selected the right printer. Here we go.
Well, actually, that's an important thing. Just show them what just happened there. So the computer was trying to find our printer, and he had not told it which printer to use. So show them where all those different printers are.
Yeah, so when you hit print, it's going to come up with a destination, and it should be whatever your default printer is, but if it's not, you can hit change, and it should be a list of any printers that you may have.
And then you look through here and find the one that you're actually using. That's the one we're actually using.
Yep. All right, so it is going to print this test page. Once you've done that, you will need that sheet of paper that just printed off. And what you are going to do is you have to literally hold the test page that you printed up to a light source with a blank check in front of it. What you are looking for is you want to see if pay to the order of is lining up, if your amount is lining up next to the $sign. Your written amount should be in the middle. If there's a memo, it should show up somewhere near there and not be skewed. This can be sometimes a little time consuming. Yeah, there we go. You know, maybe hold it up to a window or whatever.
Here, go ahead and put it up there so they can see it.
Sure. So you can see everything is kind of shining through.
We really can't.
You can't see.
Get this closer to it.
I don't know if
okay, you can see. Yeah, you can see behind it.
Yeah.
You see where it says pay to the order of. There's the guy's name and so on and so forth and yada yada.
So this one is actually not bad. Everything's a little bit low. So I'm going to kind of show you how to tweak it. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that you kind of have to play around with it and do this a few times to get it right. But once you have this set up correctly, it's set. It'll never change unless you change your printer.
So we're going to show you how to alter the settings of the printer so it just
so
right.
Yeah, it tells you to do what we just did. Place a sample on top of a blank check, hold them up to the light. All right.
That's what it says right there.
then you've got two options down here at the bottom. Either yes, basically you're saying everything lines up, or no, you're going to continue setup. I am going to tell you, unless for some reason you don't have Adobe already installed, if you don't have Adobe, you need to download Adobe. It's free. You use it for a lot of different stuff, but you should have Adobe already on your computer. If for some reason you don't, you can get the latest version through this link right here.
You may as well go ahead and click that, just not you, I mean them, to make sure that they have the most recent up-to-date version of Adobe.
Yeah, and it'll tell you, it'll check your system. Then we're going to go no. I'm going to continue setup again, and then you're going to fine-tune the alignment. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, but basically if you want everything to go up on the page, basically if it's printing too low, you raise this. If it's printing too high, you lower this, and then the same left and right, just the opposite. So I'm gonna, because it's printing too low, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. You want to position this number that you see on the computer screen where it's lining up on your blank check. And because mine was a little bit low, I'm lowering this down.
So you're telling the computer where it is currently printing on your check by looking through the light onto your thing.
Exactly.
So it will now adjust it to bring it up to there.
Yep.
So you're telling it what it is showing on the check.
So we're going to once again view preview and print another sample. And much better, much better. So you've got pay to the order of.
And just to show them again what this is, so the bottom thing is, the top is your actual check, the bottom is their sample check, and you're checking to make sure that everything, for example, here's our $sign and there's the amount right there.
Yep.
So that is pretty close. It could come down a smidge.
It could come down a little, but I would recommend leaving this because your memo and everything is lining up and you don't want it down into the check.
Well, it
number.
doesn't look as though your check is 100% lined up with the thing, so that's going to bring it down a little bit. Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty close. We could bring it, we could show that, you know, that it's a little too high now, you think? Or is that good enough?
I think it's close enough.
You think it's close enough? Okay.
Yeah.
So, nobody's going to be upset if your number is a centimeter or a millimeter too high.
Exactly. All right. So, once we have gotten to the point where everything lines up correctly, you're just going to finish setup.
And that's it?
If you had to go through it again, you can go back in and go through the steps again. But now the printer is set up to print checks correctly in QuickBooks. When you start printing checks, you only have to do this one time, like I said, unless you get a new printer.
And obviously, you know, once your checks actually come in, like what we've got right there, you just put them inside your printer tray.
Actually, if you want to stop for a second, to avoid accidentally printing on check stock, I recommend, depending on what type of printer you have, opening the front and using your secondary feeder tray. It just works a lot better because you know they go in a certain way and you're not printing on the backside or something
so there you
like
go.
that. And another little tip, if you're looking for a company to buy checks from, I have found checksforless.com has about the best prices for check stock.
Checksforless.com. Little plug. We should get a commission check.
No kidding, right?
Thanks, guys.